Oh, that's us.
This is us. Anyways, welcome to the meeting, everybody. Couple announcements. So tomorrow we will be having a collaboration with the Web Development Club. I will be leading a workshop for them over WebGL, so how to do like 3D graphics in a browser. If you're interested, it'll be tomorrow at 7:30 in Pearson 1106.
Online.
It's in person.
Well, do they like record them for later?
Oh, I don't think so. They're pretty small club.
Just surprised to change the font on the bottom.
So the meeting next week will be video editing. We'll talk about how to do that sort of thing, why it's useful, especially for game development. And then we'll have a social night on 4/26. That is the Friday before Dead Week. And the Tuesday before Dead Week will be our last meeting. That's when we will have elections. So those elections will be for the 4 main positions: president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. If you're interested in those, we'll have more information next week. I'll talk about them a little more. We'll put it in the announcements too. So just start thinking about it if it's something that you're interested in. So, questions? Jimmy's fired up. Yes.
So this is probably already yes, but like I might not be able to make it next week since I have to do a SI session.
Okay.
For math. So I was wondering, like, these are like recorded online, right?
We record them and post them like a week or 2 later. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure, so that way I can just.
Yeah, we'll have it. We'll put it on YouTube.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All right, Jimmy. Oh wait, no, this is me. Anyways, so the reason why I'm here today, post-mortem. What is a post-mortem? It's just a look back at something that you've done in the past and something that is considered dead or something you're not really working on. And with game development, especially, people just starting, it happens a lot because you work on something and then you stop working on it. So the post-mortem itself is just more of a time to reflect. So Jimmy and I are going to talk about games that each of us have made and how we have learned from it, stuff we wish we would have changed or whatever, or things that we think we did good. So, but the whole point is to be able to, it sucks that the project is over or you're done with it, but it was a learning experience. What do you take from it? So, what type of experience do you get? Yeah. Take it away, Jimmy.
All right, it's my turn. So, my postmortem is about a game that actually I haven't shown off yet and that none of you guys have really seen before that I am really excited to show off. Just kidding, it's this game again. It's the Pac-Man Brothers. So this is a game that I made.
Cool.
I started it back in, I think, mid-2001 and finished it.
2001?
2021. And yeah, I know. This has been a long time in
He
production.
started it when he was born.
Started it before in the womb. When I was -8 years old,
What?
stuff like that. Yeah,
You keep
in 2001. Yeah.
you keep messing up the time.
Just keep talking.
You know what year I was born, right? Or whatever.
Tell us.
No, 2002. So if you were -8 years old or months old, my bad. Oops.
Just talk.
All right, so yeah, it took me about a year and a few months to finish this. It probably would have taken like maybe 6 months to actually finish it, but procrastination and stuff like that. But yeah, this was an act of spite that was turned into a complete game. How this started was that we took this class together. Actually, we just weren't in the same group. Yeah, this is a class actually that you can take. I actually don't think it's available. Actually, it might be. I think it might be available in 2 more semesters or something like that. It's pretty much, it like advertises itself as like a sequel to 185, where basically it's a 1-credit course where you get in a group of people and then you like code something, and that's literally the whole class. The reason I'm talking about this is because somebody made a game in the class that was basically like, they pretty much recreated Pac-Man, and that I looked at it and I was like, wow, I can do so much better. Because they talked about how, like, I think the one thing I remember specifically was that they talked about, they're like, yeah, we couldn't get the ghost AI to work and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've been playing video games long enough. I bet I could do it myself. And so this isn't actually what it looked like at the bottom. This is just representation of what like a normal Pac-Man fan game in Game Maker would look like, where it has gray blocks and it just looks awful. And yeah.
Looks neat.
So getting started on this, the best first step into making a fan game of any kind is to dissect the code and the gameplay about what makes it feel good. This can apply to not just like arcade games, but if I were to like, for example, make a Mario fan game, sure, like you can say that he runs and he jumps and stuff like that, but like how well, what is his like specific physics in the air? How heavy is he? And like, can you do other moves such as like, you know, wall jumping and like, what else does he do? Cartwheels or something like that.
Use a little spinny move.
A little spinny move, exactly. And so yeah, what's up? This kickflip. That's a good one. That's a good one. And so yeah, I just wanted to stay one-to-one with the initial design as much as possible, because normal people might look at it and be like, oh, this is pretty cool, but then like the people that are actually fans are like dissecting it and like going, is it perfect? And so yeah. So 2 examples in Pac-Man's case that I like studied was one, the ghost AI, they all move differently. I'm not gonna go, you can look it up on your own. I actually linked this video. That's pretty much the only video that I had to watch that would like explain it for me, about how the ghost AI works. The other one is corner cutting, where actually I guess, I don't know if you'd call this like tech or physics in Pac-Man, but like when you cut corners, you actually go slightly faster, and that's how you're supposed to like outrun ghosts. And there's also another thing I didn't mention on the slide is that when you're eating dots, you actually go slower. So going back around corners that you've already gone is a good way to like get away from them better. So this was the initial design that I made. I don't know why this fight was so strong in this one, because I stayed up all night. I remember I went home at like 8 o'clock and then I finished it in like 4 in the morning, because I was like, I don't even know what the guy like, or I don't even remember what he looks like or what the group was, but I was like, yeah, no, this is how you do it. So I drew all the like sprites and everything like that, and I made sure to have the corner cutting. The GIF is like really chopped up, so like you can barely see it, but Pac-Man does like curve around the corners, and the ghost AI kind of works-ish almost. And also, this is very different from the final product, but like I did 32 by 32 sprites instead of, or I did 16-bit sprites instead of 8-bit sprites for some reason. I thought it would look cooler, but it didn't. It just looked really weird. Okay, so then I had pretty much like the whole physics done already, but I had to think to myself, you know, if we're gonna finish this, because we might as well, how can this is the big thing, is that how can this be different from every other Pac-Man fan game, to answer your question, because you wouldn't shut up about it when we were showing it off. And so I did a little brainstorming session in my head where I did like co-op, some sort of like button so that when you press it, it like does something. A bunch of more levels, and then new characters maybe, I don't know. So when I usually make characters, I usually think of the theme and the setting before actually designing the characters and make it look like they belong in that world afterwards. I'm going to shout out this game, Away From Home. This is a Kickstarter game. I think it's still in production. It's been in production for a long time, actually. But basically, if I had to remember what the game is, it's basically like a mix between Earthbound and Rhythm Heaven. It's pretty much a mashup of those 2 games where you play as a kid who beats up gang members. And so yeah, that's where I got like the whole city and graffiti theme. And so I based everything around that by making all the characters like all hip and stuff like that. So I turned all the ghosts into like gang members, and I put a hat on Pac-Man. Yeah, it's very hip with the kids.
Very good.
Yeah, this is how I thought of the Brothers theme, was just that Mario Brothers, and that game is co-op. I think I wanted the game to have co-op first before I thought of the characters as well, so that's how the Brothers thing came. And I went back to the action button idea, and I just thought I don't know, I was probably playing Dark Souls or something, thought of the dodge roll, and so yeah, that's where that came from. This is how you make you'll notice this in a lot of games that I like to do. I love to have procedural generation in it just because it has a lot of level potential. And so how it works in this game is that what I do basically is that I draw the sprites out so that so 4 of these are the top of the screen, the top of the level, and 4 of these are the bottom of the screen. And what happens is that I make a code that basically turns these into a buffer, and it chooses one of these frames on the top and one of these frames in the bottom, and it just squishes them together and sandwiches them into a level. So with this first level, there are 16 possible maze combinations. So yeah. And you can easily change that to 125 if you just added one on the top and one on the bottom. And yeah, it just keeps going on. So the first release, actually, I don't even know if it's the actual date, but it's close enough. It was around that. And it did well. I think the general review was that if you didn't know Pac-Man that well, you could say that it was cool, but they didn't know what was really different about the game. But the people that were huge fans of Pac-Man were this is super cool, and yeah. Tip for yourself is that if you're a nobody and you're just making games, find events, and this can be either through Twitter or some other online event. So the reason that this was uploaded at the end of summer was because at the end of summer is a online gaming expo called Sage. This was Sage. You know what that is?
I know about Sage.
You know about the Sage as well? So this was
They're for, the Sonic fan games.
yeah, so Sage stands for Sonic Amateur Games Expo or whatever like that, but it's kind of just turned into Indie Amateur Game Expo or whatever. Basically any I know I've seen a lot of Mega Man fan games and Mario fan games on there. Basically any Wahoo. Actually, that's where Pizza Tower got its big attention. Was yeah, it started on its own thing on itch, and then he came out with a big update demo that went to Sage, and then Vinesauce played it, and then it blew up there. But yeah, it didn't do too well. It did fine. It got I think to this day it has 2,000 downloads, where that's pretty good, but I know that there's a lot more people that haven't seen the game. I'll go to somebody, I'll tell somebody about it. I think I told somebody about it a month ago who's a huge fan of Pac-Man, and they just didn't know it existed because I never advertised it. Because I showed it off at the Game Dev Club, I think with a demo, and then I showed it, and then I entered it into Sage, and I didn't tell the internet about it at all. I just said, I just went #Sage, hey, look at this game I made, and that was the online debut that I made all of a sudden. And so because of it, yeah, it did nobody saw it really at all.
Yeah.
And because you don't have any advertising, or you don't know anybody else that plays these type of games, you don't have time for play testing at all. It's pretty much you upload it and you hope that people like it. And some people did like it, but some people had some complaints with it. And that being no D-pad support. My initial thought was, who wants to play Pac-Man with a D-pad? Apparently a lot of people want to play Pac-Man with a D-pad. I still don't get it. I still play with an analog stick or a keyboard. I don't get it, but...
Well, the keyboard's kind of like a D-pad.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
But when you got an analog stick right there, why would you use a D-pad? Oh, whatever.
The D-pad kind of feels more natural. Isn't that how it was?
No, it was played. It was.
Well, when you
with a joystick.
are playing with an arcade cabinet, you're playing with a joystick. But when you're playing an NES port, then you're forced to use a D-pad. I guess.
Maybe the D-pad's more competitively viable because it's the one control scheme where it requires the least amount of travel time for any given.
Well, then it's solid directions. You don't get half.
Well, it's Pac-Man. You don't need the.
You never know, man.
But like, I mean, do you?
The high score table bugged out. I don't know why it bugged out, but it just did. There were a few crashes that happened. Thankfully, that didn't happen while like people were playing the game, but like outside of like when I was playing on my own, after I uploaded it to Sage, there were just random crashes, and I'm like, oh wow, that's great. That's fun. Also, dumb UI choices. The point of this, I think, when I was initially making this was the first half of it was going to be making the game, and then the second half was going to be putting it into an actual cabinet. Cabinets are expensive, so that didn't happen. And also, I don't know how to like mod, hardware and software with GameMaker and stuff like that. So what happened with the game was that, so initially when you're on an arcade machine, you put in a coin and then you press like 2 different buttons for like single player or multiplayer. So how I like transferred that into game was that I said like press the 1 key to start or press the 2 key to start. That was dumb because people would, even when it showed it on the sides, people were like, how do I start this game again? And it took forever. And yeah, it was kind of like embarrassing to watch it, especially on live stream and stuff like that. So yeah, I had to change that. Also, somebody just randomly, I don't remember who it was, somebody randomly DM'd me this picture of like next to the like UI where it shows your score, there's like a stray line of pixels.
Oh.
That's just like visible the whole time, and that really bugged them, and I'm like, fine.
No.
Still can't see it.
I can see it.
Well, yeah, you're so far away though.
Right
If you
next
come up
to
closer,
Johnny.
you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that red?
It's where the
Like in
pointer
the
is.
nose there?
It's right here. It's like a dark green right
I
there.
can see like a
Oh.
thin line.
I think the reason I did that was because behind those numbers is like a green bar, so that shows you where it's supposed to start and where like the numbers are supposed to
Oh.
end.
There's like a sliver.
I don't know why there's a sliver, but there is a sliver.
You could just make it black.
I didn't think about that. I don't like how it transitioned. Updates over time. I think after Sage came out, I did a 5th ghost. I changed the RNG because, so how it works, there's this mechanic in the game that I didn't describe where initially there was like a 10% chance that a letter would show up on a ghost, and if you ate that ghost while they were blue, then it would like spell out, it would like collect the letter itself. It was like a letter of Pac-Man, and if you like spelled out the word Pac-Man, that's how you get extra lives. People didn't like the RNG at all, so I was kind of negotiated, and I gave it a 50% chance instead. Score balancing, I changed. So if you were playing in 2-player mode, and player 1 ate 2 ghosts, and player 2 ate 2 ghosts, player 1 would get 200 then 400, and player 2 would get 800 then 1,600. I changed it so both of them got 600 because that was more fair. I added new art on the side of the console itself, and then I also fixed the crashes. And the other changes that people were complaining about, I didn't add, except for D-pad support. I added that because it was really easy to do, and I just didn't think about it.
That's cool.
What now? I got bored. Yeah, I think it's a game that kind of just ran its run time. If I were to go back, actually, I'll probably talk about that in the next slide. But yeah, I have decided that a fan game is a good start, but it's not something you should dwell on for more than a year and a half. I don't think at all. It kind of depends on you if you are really passionate about a project or not. But for an arcade game, it's
It's also, yeah, a pretty small game.
yeah, it's a pretty small game. Updates I've considered is even more random generation. So you saw how earlier it's you take the top half and the bottom half and you squish them together by choosing a random. I was thinking about cutting that into quarters, so that if you choose 4 quarters, then there's 256 possible combinations or something like that. That would be a really easy update to just randomly do. New characters. Somebody suggested the Pac-Man sisters. This was my concept that I whipped up. Probably not going to do anything with it at all. Original music, I don't know how to compose at all, and I don't feel like commissioning Samuel to do 6 songs for me. That's a lot of money. Online play, I'm never going to figure that out. Online play is something, if you don't know, you want to do that immediately and then build your game around it, because if you just say, oh, I'm going to do online play all of a sudden, no, you're not going to do it all of a sudden, because it takes forever to do, especially when the game is already done. That's something that needs to be worked in like immediately. And also redrawing everything. I think my sprite work, my drawing abilities have improved since then. That was like a year and a half ago. I could probably just like redraw everything to look better. But yeah. What I've learned coding wise, the level generation, obviously, how to do co-op, saving stuff, so saving a high score table, obviously, but also saving settings so that you can close the game and it'll show up again. Getting rid of code redundancy, so I still could go back and do more work on it to do that, because there is a lot of repeated code that doesn't need to be there, because I wasn't very good at like parenting and inheriting and stuff like that, despite going through a whole year of college already. A pause menu, that was pretty easy to do, or at least the way I do it. I just kill everything on the screen and then bring it back to life. And then menus, so go up and down menus and stuff like that. That's what I learned. Other stuff I learned outside of coding is never underestimate how long it takes to make a video game, not only based off of like how fast you can code, but like how burnt out you can get. This is a game that took me almost a year and a half that should have probably taken 6 months, like I said. It's a big boy game. Get play testers so that you can upload a project that you're actually proud of initially, instead of having to upload it and then take it back and then like change some stuff and then re-upload it. Talk, interact even. See what people are saying about your game or what people like about it. Meet fans and make friends and rise together. The people around you should not be your competition. They should be people that you're happy with. And then you make collaborations and stuff like that. It makes you happy. Advertise it. Even when nobody sees it, say that you at least tried. Upload stuff. Vlogs. That sort of stuff. Fix bad code early. If you don't fix code early, then you're going to forget about it. You're never going to have the will to go back to it and then fix it later. And be proud. And yeah. There you go.
Yay.
Nice.
I don't have anything else I want to talk about.
Up to you.
Did you also do the 2D art there?
I did. This artwork was the new art that I put for like the side of the console when you boot up the game. This artwork I did in the middle as like a celebratory, because that was like a year after it was uploaded. And then this one on the right is fan art.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you
What
still
else
download
happened? Huh?
it? We still download it?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
on my itch page.
You search Pac-Man Brothers, it'll be probably the first thing that comes up. So.
Yeah, there are some people there's a German article about it.
A German market.
That liked it,
YouTuber play it too.
and a
right?
YouTuber played it. And yeah,
The
a few
highest
YouTubers played it, but together it made like a few thousand views
Yeah.
for all those videos on YouTube. But yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
There you go. Can I
Very
sit in the
nice.
chair?
Yeah, you can sit on the chair now. My turn. All right, so Jimmy talked about a cool game that he actually finished and had some success. I am not quite the same.
Yes, you are.
I have 50 people in the Discord server, which hasn't been talked in like 3 years. So the game that I made my freshman year of college was called The Void Above. And if you've seen my mouse pad before, that's what it's from.
Whoa.
I have one piece of merch that I got from my girlfriend because she's my #1 fan.
Was that the title screen?
Yeah.
Also, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, you're my biggest fan online. So, what is The Void Above? It was a block game, if that wasn't obvious. I really like sandbox games, so I thought I'd try to make one. The idea was that you could explore multiple planets. I really only ever added one, but the idea was that you could travel, because then if I wanted to keep adding new stuff to the game over time, like I wouldn't have to work it into an existing world. You could just travel to a new one and there'd be new stuff. Like every update would have a new planet or something. Yeah, so there was mining and crafting and
Mining away.
and curvature to the planets.
You know what that is? It reminds me of Animal Crossing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, it was actually like every planet was like a circle. That you could go
So if you were to actually map the world out, it actually was like a donut shape, whatever that name is.
to. Taurus.
Yeah, Taurus. Because since the blocks were, squares, you can't actually make a circle with that, which I tried. So I ended up making a torus, and it wrapped around. So it seemed like a planet, and because of the shader, it looked like it was a sphere, which I'll show you in a bit, but it was not. So why did I make this? I made it because coming into college, I wanted to make a game. I hadn't actually made anything yet. I made like 2 games in Unity before, but I never finished them. They were both fighting games that I tried making in high school. I can show that too later, but I wanted to actually do something, and this was very interesting to me, and I thought I could do it. I wanted to learn Unity more. I touched on it a bit. Like I said, I like sandbox games. So, but yeah, here's some pictures from the game. Like I said, it was spherical, so if you were to go way up high in the air, it would actually look like a planet. I used a shader for this, which would basically, the further away you were, the more it would zoom out or something. I don't remember how it works exactly. But all that mattered is that it looked like a sphere when you were far away from it, so like an actual planet would. And I could adjust this, make it bigger or smaller planets. I also added networking and multiplayer, which, like Jimmy said, if you don't do this at the beginning, it's very hard to do. And the reasons for that is just because, the way that you code it, you have to separate your code into server and client stuff. Because typically when you make a video game, you don't really think about that. You're like, oh, I want the player to do this. I'll just code it like that. The player jumps. Well, when you have networking, you have to think about how it's going to work on other players' devices. How do you notify them that your player is jumping or moving or animating? And then they have to notify you of their changes, and it gets really complicated. So if you don't do that right away, it's way harder to add later. So, but I also had a day-night cycle that I added, an inventory system as well. It had some lighting with smooth lighting. It looked pretty good actually. I had an animation system. I had a character model that I rigged up. I added a gun that's in his hand. So.
Kind of awesome.
What?
Did you make that gun?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of modeling as well. The gun model, or the gun also, when you'd shoot, you could hit blocks and it would break them. So that was cool. And then I had different block variants because I was like, haha, Minecraft doesn't have this. I'll add it. and then I also added walls and some other unique stuff. So what happened to the game? It died.
Oh no. Where is Killer Bean?
I really like that movie, by the way. I watched the entire thing.
That's
I
great.
watched it too. It's nice.
We're moving on. Why did my game die? Several reasons. First and foremost, I was way too ambitious. I bit off a lot of stuff to chew, and especially when I hadn't really made any games before, especially of this scale. I was learning a lot more stuff. I spent a lot of time learning, which is great, but I also wasn't making much progress on the game itself. I kind of planned it out, but not enough. I just hadn't had enough experience. I should have started with a much smaller project. I was out of my skill range. The scope definitely didn't help, but it's when I'm spending time trying to learn how to do networking, procedural generation, saving crap to files, performance was also killing me. I ran into so many performance problems. I had to learn how to do shaders, modeling, art. I already kind of still suck at that, but trying to do all of that, and it's for one person, it would have taken me all of college, and even then, the game was too similar to Minecraft. So even if I would have finished this by the end of college, it's I don't think I would have had much success. So I just kind of stopped working on it because I don't think that I would have had enough people play it. Now, granted, some people would have, but it wouldn't be enough. I'll be constantly living in Minecraft Shadow, which is kind of a problem with the whole sandbox genre when it's 3D games, but one day.
Is because Minecraft dominates?
It's just hard because it's with this game specifically, it's I could just make a mod in Minecraft and have it do the same thing. So it's like, why even make my own game when somebody could just mod it and then use Minecraft, which already has all this stuff in it.
I'm saying Minecraft dominance now, but all I'm thinking about is Lego Fortnite. I hear people, like, I hear that's actually, like, doing better in a lot of scenarios, and that they're, like, actually updating the game to, like, a healthy amount.
Yeah, Minecraft is still.
I don't think Minecraft's ever gonna be, like, tops.
Yeah, it's kind of
Not
hard
only
to
in the
tell.
sandbox genre, but of all time.
The only way Minecraft is topped is if you get like another like iPhone thing
Fortnite.
where it's like some new device comes out that everybody buys and then it's like blows up because it's like the first game. So James Cameron, he's to direct Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 2, could you imagine? It's gonna be like the same game except
Minecraft,
like
and now it's
5
called
new things.
Minecraft Cube.
Yeah, Minecraft Cubed.
How would a Minecraft 2 even work?
I don't know.
I'll hold the Bible too.
Moving on. So what could I have done better? How could I have not failed with this project? It's fine. I have other plans. I could have scaled down the scope a lot. I could have just stopped with, like, I didn't have to do multiple planets. Maybe not even the curvature part. Like, I could have scaled down a lot. Didn't do multiplayer. Because then I could have at least finished the game. And then I would have, like, even that, yeah, I wouldn't have been like everything I wanted it to be. It would have been my dream game, but I would have at least finished it and like had that to show. Could have changed the style of the game as well, and that would have just changed the scope. Trying to make it smaller.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Too, like changing the style can help like differentiate the look between Minecraft.
Yeah, and even I could change other things too, like visuals. I
The thing
mean,
I'm thinking about right now is like N64 polygons instead of cubes.
yeah, but like keeping the sandbox aspect.
Right.
You'd have to. I mean, nowadays, like if I were to attempt this again now, I would probably do like voxel stuff, like with the little tiny ones, because that's what everyone's been doing.
Right.
At least in that regard. So it's, but the problem with that too is that there's like people out there that have been doing this for years, so they've already got a 3-year head start on me. So it's like, should I even try? Because by the time I even finish a game, there's already going to be some game that's already better.
You should sabotage your competition.
Great, I'm already trying. But yeah, I also could have marketed it better. I did have like some social media accounts, but I didn't really try too much. I mean, I posted pictures every once in a while, but I needed to do more than just post online. I also needed to try to interact with people a little more. So, but it was all a learning experience. I'm actually gonna do what I think. So one thing I forgot to put on the slides is that I actually put this on Steam, which was a mistake, and I will explain why.
Can it stay up there forever, technically?
I don't know what their requirements are. Yeah. Well, you got to see my Steam library now.
Alright.
Base.
Looking for something stupid.
It's not downloaded on this computer. Yeah, I haven't played that yet. It came in a pack. I bought like all of them.
No, it wasn't actually
Yeah, it was
$6.
just $1.
Yeah.
So wait, so it doesn't have a Steam page? Is that what you?
Yeah, so if you want to publish, you can put a game on it on Steam, and just have it private for like free. But the problem was I wanted to do the networking stuff. I wanted to have playtesters be able to download it through Steam, and so in order to do that, I had to pay Steam $100 as a service fee so that they could like help me get it on Steam, you know, put it on the page, and like they basically just give somebody to help you do all the stuff.
It's like you don't have any other choice.
And I didn't have any other choice, or at least I thought I didn't, and so I did it. And I'm not getting that money back. You know, the only way you get that money back is if you make like 10 grand or something on Steam, then they give it back to you. At that point, though, like, does that really matter? But I can at least play the game. At least, hopefully, it doesn't crash because it's also been a few years.
We should have
I don't know if it was playing through Unity, it might crash because of the Unity updates.
No, it should be fine.
Whoa.
Whoa! Look, it's the void above. That's so cool. I had like a settings screen. Look at this crazy stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, the guy who made this.
Only 2 or 4 chunks.
That is next gen.
The guy who
Next
finished this-
generation.
The guy who made this should finish it.
It should be
I know.
like a GDC club play test.
Yeah, I don't even know if the multiplayer works though.
Lift off over?
Lift off, yeah. So you create a new world. I'm gonna call it Jimmy.
Whoa.
Jimmy, come
You
on.
can save it. I think that's the seed down there. Or hit play on the bottom right.
Oh.
Okay, and then this was what I was gonna do with the different like planets. So you could like pick one, and they're all kind of grayed out right
Dude,
now.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for the names, I think I just translated like common words to Roman or something.
Oh, you're.
Or Latin.
I'm assuming that's Earth.
Hey, that's what I do for D&D.
Yeah, because I was like, this sounds cool, so I'll do it.
Is that in German or Earth?
Oh, here's the loading screen. I forgot about the loading screen.
That's kind of slick, actually.
I had a joke, so I had an entire.
Yeah.
I have an entire sheet of just like 2,000 jokes that I found from the internet and that I compiled, like added in there. So it just picks a random one and puts it on the loading screen. I'm not gonna drown. There's no help. Guys, you love the stock guy jumping that I found from freesounds.org?
I thought that was one of
So you made all of this?
Yeah, I made all this.
Who's making
Wow.
Yeah. The inventory. Oh, you got little animations on the buttons.
Oh,
Yeah, it kind of looks like the old Macintosh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like Temple OS.
Yeah, I just did something temporary, but yeah, there's like the normal inventory. So my idea was that it's like a bag system. So you can expand your oops.
Wait, so that's what's in your hand?
Yeah, so your inventory is technically only 5 slots. You have the 4 inside the inventory, and then you have the hand slot, and then that expands the backpack.
It's like lethal company.
Well, I mean, like your inventory isn't.
It's like
You just use a backpack as like, so like there could be smaller backpacks. I think I can craft them out of sticks if I remember correctly. Hold on.
Wow.
I know, well, I just did that temporarily so I could actually like craft stuff. I just literally just found the sounds and edited them in so they were good enough. And the blocks like have no lighting, I guess.
I mean, I feel like that's a good thing, like, it lets you see them.
Yeah, so I could also put these up here if I wanted, but and then go to crafting. There's like you can like pick from them.
Oh, 5. See, that's how.
No, I can make a bunch of sticks.
I'll make a torch.
I need coal. I don't have coal.
Oh, this is kind of like the legacy crafting system.
Oh yeah, see, I can craft a bag out of sticks, and then like if I were to put,
Craft a bag.
Wow,
if I make this small bag up here, now I have 2 more inventory slots.
Oh, you did it before Mojang could.
Yeah, I actually did have bags before they did because I made this like 4 years ago. So
Have bags.
they're adding them in the new update
It's
Wow.
really
or bundles, whatever. It's literally the same thing. Look at that art. They totally ripped me off.
They copied you, man.
There's like a furnace and stuff. This is clay. This isn't dirt. There's also like little pebbles. The chunks aren't loading sometimes. There's a few bugs.
Oh, wow.
No.
I love how the world just kind of like wraps around.
Yeah, it
Makes
does.
you feel like you're on a little planet.
This is coal. This is copper.
Yeah, we had copper before Minecraft.
I also added copper before Minecraft added it, just for the record.
Are those all
Bar for bar.
This is iron. Oh yeah, there's a player model as well.
See your
Oh, you can see yourself. That's so cool.
Do you actually have animation?
It's like CS2.
Oh, here's the debug menu.
Yeah.
Is it just a Minecraft game?
I don't know if it's good, but it's similar, yeah. No, it does not. I do have more slides. We got lots of time, Jimmy.
I was just wondering. Oh, the sun's a circle. That's
I think you can also trash items.
You said the
Sun's
world
a
is a
circle,
torus
man.
in this,
Man,
right?
that's
Huh?
You
crazy.
said the world is a torus in this?
Yeah.
So how do blocks intersect like, in the same?
Well, because the torus can map to a square.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because of if you take, I don't have a piece of paper. Let's say that you took this. This is like the world.
Yeah.
If you wrap it like this, and then you curve it around again, like you could connect. You could take the burrito shape, and you could connect these 2 circles to each other as well.
How do you get around like the stretching of blocks and stuff?
What do you mean?
Well, like if you were to like wrap that torus shape around, like the blocks on the outside would stretch, right?
Yeah, it's just a shader. So if I were to remove the shader, This is actually a completely flat game.
Oh.
Just when you load the chunks, it'll basically just move the chunk over in front of you, and it'll just keep repeating.
Okay.
So if you modify a chunk here, walk all the way around, you'll eventually get to the chunk, and it'll be updated just as it was. So, yeah, it was a cool concept. I took it from a 2D game, and just made it 3D. So.
What did that say about gummy bear?
I don't remember. Let's see if I can actually. I probably have the file. I want to see if I have all the jokes. Source folder, not class.
You ever have that happen to you?
I don't get the reference.
My aunt bought me.
I don't have it down here. It's gonna.
You want me to make jokes for you?
It's like the most offensive.
Yeah, even though the game's not good.
Here we go. Here we go. Assets. It's probably in resources.
One of those toddler when your parents give me a bag of peanut M&Ms.
Where's the jokes list?
Yeah, they still feel bad to like for that.
Oh, that's your fault. That's your fault. They're not like
I guess, yeah.
I was a teenager. One of my neighbors gave me makeup. I never wore makeup. She thought I needed it.
That's
Damn.
My gosh.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
All right. I don't know where the jokes list is, but it's probably somewhere in here.
I don't know what I did. I was
Do you
like,
remember any of
okay.
them?
No.
Do you remember any?
Is it in text? Oh, here it is.
Jokes.txt and joke. What is the meta? Is that
Mm,
just
That's what Unity does. It just stores extra data about stuff. The first joke. What is 9 plus 10?
Wow. There's the other side.
Clever joke.
Absolute sense, but also imaginary. You're good.
Has anybody told you how beautiful you are today? No? Better luck tomorrow.
Part of the 2B comedy stand-up.
Yeah.
Are they all like self-roast?
No, that's
They're
just.
all self-deprecating.
I ate a clock yesterday. It was very time consuming.
Well,
Um,
you should have like.
my wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I had to put my foot down.
Light travels faster. Wait, what's that? Light travels faster than sound, which is the reason that.
Atheism is a non-profit organization.
I like the time joke. The clock.
Two Wi-Fi engineers got married. The reception was fantastic.
This is like what they put.
Communist jokes aren't funny unless everyone gets them.
Did I send you that Mexican like magician joke?
I don't know. I think I got this from online as
I know, I
well.
think I remember that.
Mexican magician tells an audience he will disappear on the count of 3. He says uno, dos, and poof, he disappears without a trace.
I don't get it.
Because trace is 3 in Spanish.
Oh.
And trace, like, yeah.
Oh.
So a dad is washing his car with his son.
Why
The
do they-
son
why do they-
says.
But yeah, these are like all the jokes that would spawn. There's so many. My IQ came back negative.
I wanted to make a joke about sodium, but nah.
I ordered 2,000 pounds of Chinese soup. It was wonton. Anyways, I need to do that for Alkaline. I think that'd be funny. It's such a funny idea. It's just because usually like Minecraft has like the yellow text, you know, it's just whatever. But like I like jokes. I think it's funny.
That's good. That's good.
Anyways, let's continue with the slides.
Yeah.
I think I already said this.
Yeah.
Okay, so how could I have improved? Or how have I improved, I should say. I learned a lot of stuff, and I'll talk about that on the next slide too. I was able to use a lot of the stuff that I learned on newer projects. Just literally everything. Like I said, I spent way too much time, well not way too much, but a lot of my time learning as opposed to actual game development. And if you want to do like a serious project, like if you want to get people to buy your game, you can learn some stuff on the fly, like that's fine, that's how everyone is, but like you can't be learning everything like I was. I was literally learning how to do every aspect of my game.
During college as well.
During college as well, yeah.
No.
When I still cared about classes. So
Same.
like that was just, it was just way too much. and like here's an example of like when I was trying to learn how to do shaders, the lighting. This was the lighting specifically. Like it's just like garbage on the top, but then I made it look pretty. So it's just a lot of learning. So what all did I learn? I learned how to use Unity first and foremost.
You end that way.
Huh?
Well, I mean,
Well, I learned how to use it
Yeah.
more. Like I already kind of knew how to use it, but I would say by the end of this project, I felt confident in my abilities to use Unity. Like I feel like I actually understand it. Learned how to do 3D rendering, all the things that entail with that. Mesh building, so I had to like actually like all the blocks. I had to create an algorithm that would place all of the faces of each cube so it could run, and it wasn't just a cube. It had to like blend together so it was efficient. Learned how to do shaders, which was kind of cool. Shaders aren't that bad if you're doing just a normal shader, so it was pretty fun. Lighting inside of the shaders, that sucked more than just the shaders themselves. Like I think the shader for carving the world is literally like one line, but the shader for the lighting is a lot more complicated. I learned how to do networking, which sucked, and I shouldn't have done. Should have waited on that. Had to learn how to do performance. That's a different font. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's because when I would copy paste, it would like change the font, and I didn't care enough to change it. I learned how to do skeletal animations and just use the animator in general in Unity. So that's pretty useful. Did a workshop on that. Learned what a model view controller was and how to do that with my user interface. If you don't know what that is, highly recommend looking it up. Very useful. User interface. Learned how to do multi-threading because Unity doesn't like multi-threading, but it was required for my game because I have so much crap going on. So what did I use this for? Future projects. I made this for class. This is called The Cult of the Beard.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Did you show it off?
Yeah, this was my final project. So yeah, the professor talks about it. That's actually the professor in the game too, which is the best part. And also on Twitter, that's his profile picture. It's that guy. So like, yeah, he really liked it.
I'll take that class next semester. I don't expect it.
You should.
Taking it right now.
I think he only does it in the
Oh, in the
Oh, that's
spring. Yeah. But the idea of the class in general, the class is religion and pop culture. And so I offered to make a game because pop culture, and he said yeah. I didn't really tell him much about it, but the premise of the game is that he discovers this book, and then he becomes super powerful. So he goes around and destroys and kills religious entities and then absorbs them into the book with his beard. So
Is that spider? You know what beard blade is?
no,
Okay. Well,
I literally just made this up. So
fair enough.
because the professor has a cool beard, so I was like, oh, he's gonna use his beard. That's why the beard is punching in them.
I've seen him maybe like twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, for another class for 327 for the final project, I made a 2D like procedural Terraria clone in the terminal.
Yeah, that's great.
In C++.
This is all in C++.
Yeah.
And I did this in like a week too.
I made
So,
Minesweeper.
but I used a lot of what I learned about how to do procedural generation and all that stuff. I mean, it was kind of easier because I didn't have to do meshes or anything. It was literally just a bunch of text. Had like an inventory system as well. Submitted this, got 100%, and the TA just said great job, and that was all the feedback I got. So after that, no, I don't. It was the TA. It wasn't even Schaefer.
Oh.
So I was like, damn.
I got the exact same grade for making a good one.
Yep, exactly. So I definitely was overkill, but it was just, this was more about trying to see if I could actually do it or not. So most recently, I've also been working on, well, not most recently, but also was working on Alkaline. So this is also procedural generation in 2D. This is more of a sand simulation that I'm gonna come back to after I finish my engine and finish. But hopefully my goal with this is to make it more of like a fighting and exploration game, kind of like Terraria, but like better, I hope. Less blocky. So yeah, those are slopes. So just for I actually placed all of these for the screenshot. I placed all that stuff. Like I basically placed everything in the picture. But when the world generates, it would be like smooth and there's like slopes and it would look more like Noida. if you've played Noida. But yeah. Noida is a roguelike, a 2D roguelike. It's a sand simulation. That's where most of this inspiration came from. But the goal of that one is just to like get to the bottom of this world and fight a boss, and you like get wands on the way, and you can like upgrade them and stuff. It's pretty cool. And I really like the game. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's a roguelike, so you can't like. You have to eventually, you have to stop playing. So I was like, this is dumb. I want a sandbox game where I can like keep playing on the world. So.
That's a good way to think of a game, by the way. It's just like think of game. I wish I could like play this game instead.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
Because like I mean that and my main gripe with the roguelite, especially with Noida, is like take like Terraria for example, very similar game, and you can turn that into a roguelike if you want to. You can go on hardcore, and if you die, you restart. That's all it is. Whereas like with Noida, you're forced into that option. So, but yeah, currently I'm making a game engine, which Obama. And I've used a lot of my knowledge that stem from the Void Above, like all the stuff that I learned at that time. So like, I mean, yeah, it sucked that I spent so much time on that project, but I feel like all of the stuff that I learned from it was definitely valuable and useful. Yeah, I wouldn't give that up because I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. So, yeah, a lot of that has gone into here. I mean, additional information as well, but yeah. I don't have a thank you or whatever page. So,
you want to do questions?
do you have any questions?
You have any questions
For either of us? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've thought about questions at all.
What would you say would be a good strategy for like wanting to like make a game but like not having as much experience? So like say I'm not as experienced in C++, or I could make something in like Unity or something like.
Start really small.
If
Like-
you still want to go somewhere, I guess like think retro. I guess.
Yeah, I would start. I mean,
Start with Pong. That's a good start.
it doesn't even have to be Pong, but yeah,
Doesn't
something
have to be
similar.
Pong, but-
Because usually, like the easiest way to start with like learning is trying to recreate an old game like Pong or some arcade game, because those games are already simple by nature because of just the time. But then also like you don't have to do any game design. You already know what the end product should be.
I think a lot of the charm that comes into like coding an old video game is because they had such hardware limitations. It's really easy to replicate their code.
It
It's
is really
fun
easy.
to just like get every pinpoint detail done and just to like polish soon and then do whatever you want. Huh?
How come there's a lot of Pong re-releases?
Because it's a boring game.
I mean, Atari technically owns Pong. They made a Pong RPG not too long ago called Pong Quest.
That sounds
That they
really
did
dumb.
just because they thought it was funny.
It did so good that I've heard of it.
Yeah, I know. You can probably look it up right now. It looks kind of cute, but I'm not gonna buy it ever. But again, it's like anything that's been done with Pong has been already recoded by like every other person that's trying to learn code. So it's like, what's the point in making a new Pong game?
Also, you guys want to know something cool?
Why?
This is an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it motion? Like.
Oh yeah, you think it's getting bigger, but it's like.
You think that it's moving to and like forwards and away from you, but it's actually just shrinking and growing.
Oh. Okay. Illusion broken. My life is over.
My life is.
Yeah, so it's actually just it's going straight up and down, but it's just shrinking and growing.
While it's going straight up and down.
Yep. So if you were to like rotate around this, it would still look like it's always moving away towards you, even if you spin. So
My face went.
I did that by accident. And I was like, this is pretty cool, so I'm gonna get with it.
Actually, when it comes to like these kinds of tricks and tips, they're like what more seasoned programmers and designers do.
Well, that I came across by accident, but sometimes I don't know. It all comes with experience, right? Because like I came across that by accident, so now it's in my arsenal. I know how to do something like that. But like you don't get that unless you just do stuff. So yeah, if you just don't do anything. I mean, you don't make games, and you'll never learn. That's just part of it.
True.
Oh, good. And is it possible if I could learn how to go to gaming unity, do a sound, but then have to do some sound design and learn to do art at the same time?
It's possible. It's just a lot of work. So, I mean, like for me personally, I might be able to do sound design if I put time into it. But like when it comes to art, I just don't have it.
Modeling takes forever.
I don't. Not even like modeling. I'm just saying in general. Like I feel like I don't have the artistic touch that some people do. So it's like for me, I don't think it's worth to put the time into it. When it comes to music, I feel like if I put the time into it, I could probably do it. I mean, I did a lot of music growing up, so I have that experience and background. And like programming, I mean, I've got that part down, but I don't know. It's kind of a personal choice, and especially with like all of that stuff. I mean, it's a little harder with programming, but with music and sound, you can always find that online or hire somebody. So you can even hire somebody to program too. So
I think it's really hard. Yeah, I could do it.
yeah, if you don't hire somebody, like you got to put your own time into it. So it's just a.
Unity has a very good roll-up tutorial.
What are the basic tutorials for the other engines? What's GameMaker's like go-to tutorial?
They have like default games that you can just like mess around with, like when you first open the app. I never do that. I just learn. I don't remember where I learned it.
Unity has a couple these
I took
days.
summer classes when I was like 10 on GameMaker, back in the bad GameMaker before Studio, GameMaker 8 or so.
I didn't realize scrolling would actually do anything there.
And then I learned like real coding in high school and then applied it to GameMaker again. And
Yeah.
then made a lot of stuff that didn't get finished.
All right, I think we should wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Again, WebGL workshop tomorrow if you're interested in that, led by yours truly. 7:30 in Pearson, 1106. I'll basically hand the people that show up just like a basic template, and then I'll talk about all of the JavaScript code that you need to write a WebGL program, just a pretty basic one. Maybe a couple triangles or something, a cube maybe. And then next week will be video editing, so stay tuned for that. And again, Social Night and elections will be on those dates. More information on those later. So, any questions? Comments? Hate mail? Yeah.
When will the first public release of the game engine be?
So that's actually, I mean, I'm working on that right now. I gotta fix a bunch of stuff because there's a couple of like absolute paths, so like I can't get it off my device. But that'll be soon because my plan right now is to work on a game with Hayden.
That's still going on, isn't it?
It is still going to go on. So that's going to be the first game I make with the engine, just so that I can like actually prove that it was worth it, worth making the game engine. But in order for me to make it so I can work with him, it's going to have to be, portable. So in that case, I will make it public.
Are you going to teach him how to, is it just
It's
like,
pretty intuitive.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty similar to Unity just because, that's what I was using before. I also use C# for scripting.
Okay.
So, which I can show some of that off too after if people want to stick around. But anyways, go forth, make games, and be awesome.
Thank you.
Woo!
Good job.
Give me that outro.